Increased size of pulp chamber is seen in dentin dysplasia, dens invaginatus, taurodontism, dens in denti, amelogenesis imperfecta. Beautifully they've given the question, increased size of pulp chamber. Okay, dentin dysplasia or dens invaginatus, you will have an accentuated, that is extra lobule of enamel, or some reduced enamel will be there in dentin dysplasia or dens invaginatus. You will have an accentuated lingual pit or extra lobe. Okay, but in dens in denti, again you will have a lingual pit. Amelogenesis imperfecta, you will not have increased size of pulp chamber. The only condition where you have increased size of pulp chamber in these options is this taurodontism. And this taurodontism was originally originated by Sir Arthur Keith. Very important name in MCQ. So he described a dentin anomaly where the body of the tooth is enlarged at the expense of the root. Okay, so basically the root space was occupied by body of the tooth. That's it. Okay, so he described it as bull like. Okay, so we call it as bull tooth, bull like tooth, or bull like teeth. It is taurodontism. Okay, but it was Shaw, person called Shaw, who further classified taurodont into hypo, meso, and hyperforms. Okay, so in which this hypertaurodontism being the extreme forms with wide what do you call hyperforms, you have an extreme form in which bifurcation or trifurcation occurs near the epiphysis, and hypo being the hypo being the mild variety. Okay, this variety of causes can be given for this taurodontism. First, it was a primitive pattern. Then they told it's a Mendelian recessive trait. Then it is atavistic feature. Then finally they told it is due to mutation in the odontoblastic mutation resulting from the odontoblastic deficiency during the dentinogenesis. That is the proper explanation which they gave actually. Okay, so it was due to the mutation of the mutation resulting from the odontoblastic deficiency during dentinogenesis of roots. So this, if you see the hereditability of the taurodontism, it is hereditary, and this has been seen in families. And what you have to know is it is being reported in a number of conditions like Klinefelter. Klinefelter, important MCQ. Taurodontism is seen in Klinefelter. Most of the students get confused in one more thing. I just want to mention it right now because you have to just remember this. Taurodontism is associated with a Klinefelter, whereas Rubinstein tabby is associated with Talon's cusp. Please don't confuse with this. You just memorize however you want. I don't want you to go wrong in this. Okay, and this Klinefelter syndrome, we know male who was XX chromosome has an additional X chromosome. That's it. Okay, then what is the clinical feature? It will affect both deciduous and the permanent dentition, although your permanent dentition is affected more. Okay, sometimes it involves, most commonly it involves molar, sometimes it involves the other teeth as well. Okay, even the quadrant involvement is seen. So radiographic features, if you see, it is always the pulp chamber is rectangular in shape. See, I'm just telling you one torrent, I'm just taking you one taurodont. Okay, so the pulp chamber is rectangular in shape, it taper towards the root. Okay, the pulp chamber is extremely large with much greater affection towards the apico-occlusal height than the normal. So after that, your pulp will lack the usual constriction at the cervix of the root, and the roots are extremely short. Okay, roots are extremely short, they are seen in dentin dysplasia, but here there will not be any constriction at all, and the roots are extremely short, and the bifurcation or trifurcation may be seen only a few millimeters. Okay, that is the radiographical feature that you have to remember. And treatment, no special treatment is necessary for this anomaly. So what you have to remember is Taurodontism, we always know it is it was first described by Ortho Keith, but was further subclassified into hypo, meso, hyper, and cyno. And Rubinstein may be associated with talons, whereas this is associated with Klinefelter syndrome. And what are the other things that you have to know? You have to know the normal clinical features. Clinical features, nothing much special. It involves molars. It can involve a quadrant or a single tooth or a multiple tooth. Radiographical features, you just have to remember four important things. One is rectangular in shape. Okay, then pulp chamber is extremely large. You will not have constriction, cervical constriction, and the trifurcation or bifurcation will be present few millimeters above the apex. That's it. Okay, so coming back to the question, increase size of pulp chamber. In this options, the best is taurodontism.